what you do is you get the links, and here it is. And you go over to YouTube. I think you do this. Okay. So we are broadcasting. Uh-oh, Fishy Comments is already saying something. Sorry if I'm off topic, testing out live broadcast. I give you guys and gal credit. It's not 100% perfect. Peace, Fish. Okay, so he'll start, man. We should start your broadcasting just in a second. And we'll be able to see ourselves, I believe. Other people probably can see us now. But does it say anything about how many people are on? If anyone is. And if not, anyone comes home. Now, I can't make that go away, can I? Why not, I wonder. Aha. 0 viewers yet. We'll see what happens. We'll give it a minute or two here. I don't understand why we're not getting our Command C. Let me try refreshing this. Command V.
There was someone just said
Aha.
something.
We are broadcasting live, so I can pause this. Mr. Grunt Hunter's Adventures. We're here in rainy Florida again. Yeah, it's rainy here in North Carolina too.
It's very rainy today.
So I have at least, there's one person watching at least. That's Mr. Grunt Hunter. That's Mike down in Florida who's been watching for a while.
There's Danny.
Danny's on. Hey, Danny. Wow, it's great to see you, my friend. So I don't know if we'll have many people here tonight, but Nikki's here on the couch with me, and I'm thankful she is because I feel like I'd be totally lost myself out here. I had to do a little arm twisting to get her here. And I told her we'd talk about gardening and birds and cooking and maybe some music, anything that kind of floats her boat tonight. So we're just going to look at questions people might have. First of all, what do you want to tell about this life up here on this hill, Nikki?
I don't know.
How do you feel about this life? Okay, like, you know, the number one thing I know is it's been a real blessing being here, hasn't it?
It is. It's really nice up here, and it's always a few degrees cooler here on the mountain. So I enjoy living up here. It's nice.
When we first moved here, it was a pretty spot, but I don't know that it was. You know, I mean, we came here and we said, "Wow, there's just a lot of potential." But I think Nikki saw that potential way more than I did. I just saw it as a nice house, place to, you know, stay warm and put my stuff. But then Nikki started really envisioning what it ought to look like, right?
I see what Danny's saying. No, Danny, I don't sound as funny. I sound quite country and southern. But Rich was so posh. I loved his accent, and but I'm not. As you say, does she sound funny like that guy she replaced? No.
Yeah, you can be.
I sound a different kind of funny.
Nikki has. To me, Nikki's accent is more like that Virginia sort of accent because you grew up young, up in a lot of years, formative years up kind of up the coast a little bit, right?
Did.
But anyway, from a gardening point of view, what really impressed me over the years is that, you know, I'd come home and almost every day she'd put out some new flower, or she'd move bushes, or she'd actually go and dig up bushes, and there might be a bush here one day, and then I'd come in and it'd be totally somewhere else. And it was just, to me, it was just really cool to see what she created and made. And the roses you'd move around, and then later she'd get into the bees. She really inspired me.
Here you've got some other folks coming on. You need to pay attention to your folks.
Right. Okay. The CCTV user is from Scotland.
You get sidetracked, folks.
Yeah, CCTV user's from Scotland, and he says,
Hi, CCTV.
"I'm here too. Been here for the last 4 days. Nice to see Tony's wife. I still have 2 of Tony and Rich's streams to catch up on." Yeah, Rich and I did some very long ones. We're planning on doing about an hour tonight, if people want us to go that long. I see Scott Kusel's here. It says, "From the videos of your home, it looks like a little piece of heaven." Thanks for that.
It is. I I would love for it to look like a hobbit hole from Lord of the Rings, and it feels that way to me outside sometimes. But McGrunt, is that Mike McGrunt Hunter?
Yeah, Mr. Grunt Hunter is Mike Hadley.
One I love. Let's see. I make a quiche that kind of sounds kind of sissy, but I do a real hearty quiche with some bacon and onions and green peppers, and it's just an omelet in a pie crust. I didn't make that when Rich was here. I should have, and some cheese on it and some cream. It's one of the best dishes you can make, especially if you have a lot of guests.
So that was in response to Mr. Grunt Hunter's question about what's her favorite breakfast dish. Nikki is just an all-around amazing cook. And I'll tell you a little bit about what kind of brought me to Nikki in a testimonial that Travis gave about you. I think I've shared it with you before. I'll tell it in a minute. Danny says, Nikki, I have a warped sense of humor, as Tony and Rich know, so please don't take me serious. We know.
That's too all right.
Danny,
I love it.
We get you. She sees all the comments that you put on, so she understands what you're all about, and we appreciate you. And she knows I'm going to go visit Danny in May sometime. I got the date, Danny, on my calendar, but you might have to send it to me again sometime just to make absolutely sure I still have it right. But I have it on my Google Calendar. And what I was going to say is when I first started dating Nikki, I had a friend that knew her. His name's Travis. He's a musician, and he had played music with Nikki before, and he also would go eat at her restaurant. And I asked Travis, and Travis had been kind of interested in this girl, Nikonya, and what do you know about her? What do you think about her? He said, well, she's pretty, she cooks, and she sings like an angel.
Travis loves lasagna.
What's not to love?
He loves lasagna, so he would come every Thursday and get lasagna. But he can play. He can play a guitar. So.
Yeah, he's awesome. And so that's kind of.
I've been in several bands,
yeah.
And I was in a band with him.
So I want to say thanks to those of you who have come along. And what happens here, Nikki, I forget to page down on this thing, but there's probably more questions. Sometimes the questions come a little fast and you don't catch them. You have to page down to see them. So, yeah, so my story with Nikki and the garden is that within a year, she sort of started transforming things here. And now she has. When I walk around the camera, and my videos, most of the vegetable things is me. I've done that in the blueberry bushes. And, the little trees. I put the trees in the ground.
We'll have to give an update because now, especially with all the rain, everything is it's just huge now. All the plants are huge.
Beautiful.
Even since Rich left a few days ago. I see, Danny, you say, let's see, what is different since Rich has returned home? Well, and you wanted me to elaborate on that? Well, having Rich here was awesome. He was one of the easiest house guests that I've ever had. Next to my family and Tony's family, we're just so used to them. He felt like, I felt like I had my brother here in the house because we fed off each other at teasing Tony. So he would move Tony's glasses and we would make fun of Tony that he couldn't find them. Because Tony can't find glasses because he can't see his glasses. Just find them. But we would eventually tell him where they were. But usually they were right in front of him and he just couldn't see. But having Rich here was awesome. He is the best house guest. He's the easiest person to feed. He'll eat whatever, and if he doesn't like it, he just doesn't eat anymore. But I don't know of anything that he said he just didn't like to eat. He seemed to enjoy the room, but having him here was just awesome.
I have to say,
and now that he's gone, it was a little depressing actually.
Yeah, it was bad.
The next few days that he wasn't here because I love taking care of people and having them in my home and just kind of doting on them and making sure that all's well and they've got food and their clothes are washed and that's my thing. We should own a bed and breakfast. I would actually love that. So, but,
we just only have a couple rooms though, so couldn't do too many people. But I will say this: the thing that changed a bit with me, Danny, is the thing that Rich coming over here made me appreciate the small things around here.
Yes.
To me, I had planned a whole bunch of big things to do with Rich. And I would instead, a lot of times I just walk out in the morning and see he'd be outside with his camera shooting a butterfly. Yeah. Or watching for birds, or just really looking at the leaves on the trees and the mountains and smelling the air and everything. And a lot of things that I take for granted, Rich was really soaking up and taking in. And so that kind of changed me, and it changed the way that I look about, the blessings of my little life here, because, I'm sure Rich has many blessings at home at his place too, but there were the tiniest things is what Rich noticed and appreciated, wasn't it?
Yeah, if I would fix him or fix them cookies, I fixed these little pre-made Nestle Toll House cookies, and I threw the packaging away, and he comes in, Nikki, these are great little cookies. Did you make these by scratch? And I'm like, no, they came in a package. He wanted to see the package because they don't have those. So it was neat to see what they don't have in England and what we have. It was just, he loves Sam's Club. He loved Walmart. It's the things that we just do every day. He loved how open our roads were. He loved riding on open roads and just having the space to ride where he needed to get to and get there at a good time. So it was neat to see those differences, and to see him, Mr. Tony, he needed to slow down.
Yeah, I just lived too fast. It was. To me, it was time of reflection brought on just by a friend to come in and hang out. And my pug is mad, and I don't know what. She's barking. So if you hear that, that's the pug over here making noise. See, Danny says, great answer. I recall that video about Tony and his glasses. And Mr. Grunt Hunter says, Danny, did you lose signal? The video and audio is freezing here and there. He told that.
Might be the rain. It's pouring down. They've actually had flood watches here. So, and we've had several announcements about flood watches because we have torrential rains the past 2 days.
So Mr. Grunter says my screen just went black. Video and audio is freezing here and there. Danny, give us an update if you can hear us. This is too bad. Maybe we're having problems with our.
It could be the weather. It might be the weather.
There's nothing else we got streaming or going on, is there?
I made sure it's off.
Okay. I might need to go in the other room there and check and see. Okay, I guess here we are. The screen is okay. Danny says, tell us the history of the pug. Where did you get her, and how long have you had her?
Well, Pug came from my previous marriage. I bought her, gosh, she's 12 years old now. It was 12 years this past Christmas, right?
Yeah.
I think. And I bought Pug when the Men in Black movies came out. That's when I knew I wanted a pug, was when those movies came out. So a few years later, in my first marriage, she's a carryover from that, and got her, and she just is there. I read up on pugs. Of course, I know a lot of people bought pugs because of the movie, because that little pug in the movie is just awesome. But she's the best little animal to have. They shed about 2 or 3 times a year really bad, but other than that, they sleep all day long. You don't have to do a whole bunch of anything with them. And they love you. They're like your little shadow. But that's the history of Pug. Our vet says she just only has a few more years, so it's going to break her heart.
Yeah, that'll be tough.
It is just going to break our hearts. But she's lived an awesome little life.
Yeah,
she's quite spoiled. And Rich was like the animal. What was it? The animal whisperer.
Yeah, the pug.
She didn't hug on him or anything.
Totally calm around Rich. Around everybody else, she went crazy. Somehow the Rich just really soothed her or something. Or as he said, maybe he smoothed her, as he would say. He calls petting a dog smoothing it.
Matt says, do I have big hobbies to spend money on like Tony does? Honestly, my big hobby right now is nothing but I am totally focused on school. Yeah. So my money, anything that we do, for me, big goes to school. We got a new Mac, which we really couldn't afford it at the time, but I go back and forth between the 2 Macs doing homework. So that was my big splurge for me. But we use this Mac all the time. But that's it. I'm not big on a whole lot of I don't really have any time for hobbies right now.
The interesting thing, Matt, too, is that I don't really, for that matter, have hobbies anymore. I buy pieces of video gear so people see that, but I make money with it. I mean, it's part of my job. The guitars and things that you see were bought years ago, most of them. I mean, I get one and maybe a new one every couple of years or something there. I trade around and get one. So I don't really at this point have time much for hobbies either. So I'm hoping. I mean, I would say our number one hobby right now is the gardening. Yeah. And Nikki loves birds, And so
yeah, that's my big splurge is seeds. That kind of is
bird seeds and bird feeders.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to talk about getting wild birds and stuff to come around your house, she's an expert on that. Nikki is a beekeeper, which I think is fascinating and amazing.
That first year after beekeeping, you don't spend any money on them. It's just they keep themselves. So CCTV user says it's been nice to see some real footage of America from Tony and not forced what the mainstream media wants us to see, and that's so true. And I think that's what Rich appreciated when he was here.
The thing I hoped that people would get, and I still do, I want to do a little documentary about Rich's visit. I don't know exactly what slant will be on, or maybe that will be part of another greater documentary about just friendship on YouTube. But the thing I wanted Rich to get is that the stuff you see on TV is the rare stuff. Our media and everything gets shipped out of here is the bad stuff. Very seldom do people in other lands get to see what real America is like. I would say 99.9% of the people here are good people. I mean, there are some more difficult than others, but just like any other place, we don't have a lot of control over what our government does sometimes or what crazy people might do. And so, all the bad things that are just in isolated little areas or bad places maybe get magnified. And I think Americans are, for the most part, very good, salt of the earth type folks. And we love people in other countries. We don't have, there are prejudices and there are problems and there are things like that, but not toward folks in other lands that I know of. Let's keep on. Whatever.
Danny says, Nikki, Tony lied about how you make hummy food, which is hummingbird food. Can you tell us the truth on what you use and how much? I honestly, in the beginning, I really measured, which you should. You should measure your sugar and how your sugar and your boiled water. But I put there's a certain recipes online that you need to use. But I'm so used to just doing my own way that I make my sugar water that I just hand pour my sugar in, and I know about the amount that I have, and then I do about 3 parts water to that 1 part sugar, and it depends on which recipe you're using, 3 parts to 1 part or whatever, or 4 parts to 1 part. But that's how I do mine. I don't like to refrigerate it. I like to make it, let it cool down, and go ahead and put it inside the feeder as I need it. Because it can still get mold in it inside the refrigerator. So, and I switch that out every few days, even if it's not eaten by the hummingbirds. I don't like to have anything. I don't use the red bought hummingbird food because I just like it to be something that I'm doing. And I know that it's clean water, filtered and boiled completely and cooled down.
And you found out that the water you make attracts them better than that red stuff anyway.
Yes, it does attract them better.
Swarms of them.
Yeah, but I don't use a ton of sugar or anything. I just can't tell you exactly how much sugar I use because I eyeball it. I eyeball what I'm putting in there, and I'm just so used to doing it now that I can do that. We actually have now 2 hummingbirds. So that's kind of cool.
Now, Danny's saying I use 1/4 sugar to what, but I think it's what she's saying, Danny. It's 1 part sugar and 3 parts water. Yeah. So it really is 1/4. So what Danny's doing is what you do, right?
Yeah. What you're doing, Danny, is fine. Yeah. It's fine because it looks like you're saying 1 to 4 or 1 to 3. That should be fine.
Danny's saying, and he's right. Last year, I think I said that you use half sugar and half water. That would be like a wad of goo.
I remember when he said that. They wouldn't even be able to get that.
I swear, I thought that's what you said. No. And this is cool. Now, Matt's Big Dream says, I would love to learn to bring the pretty birds to my yard. I just moved to the country, so I see some around. Now, here's what I want to tell. What I've discovered that Nikki's helped me discover is the kind of seed they really like is.
I tried everything. I learned from my mama, and she has all
kinds
of birds.
Her mom's bird lady, crazy.
She's bird crazy. Has bird magazines, bird books, and also from his dad. He loves birds, and I borrowed some of his books, and then I bought my own books. But you don't have to do that if you got people around that know about birds, and you pick their brain a little, but. I tried out all kinds of seed. The more mixed the seed is, the less.
The more they don't like it.
They're just gonna waste it. They waste it and they throw it all on the ground. Just get plain sunflower seed.
Black old sunflower seed.
Or if you want to, that's what I use. Or plain, put your thistle in your thistle feeder if you want to attract finches if they come to your area. Bluebirds are not gonna normally eat from a feeder. You might be able to get them to eat dried worms. But even then, they might come sit on top of your feeder or on top of the feeder and see what's falling as far as insects. But cardinals, finches, wrens are the ones that make the mess, and throw everything away. They get in there and just kind of, but they're just the cutest little birds. Then you have titmice and also sparrow.
You get nuthatches too.
Nuthatches and chickadees. They all love sunflower seed. And we also get an indigo blue bunting.
Wow, it's beautiful.
Once a year that's just completely blue that comes for about a week. I watch for it.
So usually it's those black sunflower seeds. We buy them at Walmart, big old bags of them, or Tractor Supply sometimes. And then we use thistle seed. And that's about all we put out, really. And it attracts a huge number of birds. And it's the CCC TV user says, yes, we're talking about good people in the world. He says 99% are good, Tony, just like everywhere else in the world. You don't need to defend your country, to me, my friend. Thank you. And that's all I guess I worry about is I just worry about our image here in America. I think a lot of countries do have maybe a misrepresentation or idea of what we're like. So that's good, man. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. And I mean, everyone in the UK knows how I feel about the UK. I love it. It's like a home to me when I go over there. I'd love to come visit again. And so I hope a bit of what I've done here with Rich and the fact that I've got the friends in Australia and the friends in the UK and the friends in other parts of Europe and Asia and everything now, South America, that they understand it. I'm just trying to put goodwill out there. I think that's what we need, is just wishes of peace and joy and positivity to people.
Now, Matt's big dream, I'm not really sure. He's asking what odd birds lately that are all black with a blue head, and any idea what that is and what they might like. It depends on what part of the country that you're from.
Yeah, Matt.
Let me get my book. You go ahead.
Okay.
I've got a book.
Matt, and I know. I see you all the time. I go watch some of your videos. But what part of the country are you in again? Just give us that general region, and she'll tell you. I don't know that we've seen blackbirds with a blue head, have we, around here?
Tell us where he's at.
She'll be able to find. She has a book here. She has a number of books that she uses to identify them. Show them this one. This is a great book.
One of my books that I use, and it depends on what part of the country you're from, and it'll tell you or world. And it tells you the birds that are in that part of the country. But this is one I use. And if we know, we might be able to tell you.
Well, she'll peep around through that some. I was looking at Danny. It says, I buy the mixed seed stuff, and we have a lot of sparrows, a few blue jays. We get some blue jays once in a while, don't we?
Yeah. It looks like Rich is here.
Oh, cool. A few cardinals and a couple of others. I have no clue what they are. Rich says, well, hello. I like my stand-in. She's pretty, isn't she, Rich? That's where we go. We've been talking about you a bit.
Danny says, I buy the mixed seed stuff, and we have a lot of sparrows, a few blue jays, a few cardinals, and a couple of others. I have no clue what they are. Well, that's cool. You've got a good mix, Danny. That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's out in kind of the Dallas area.
Hi, Tony. Hey, Rich. Tony upgraded partners. That's so mean. I can't be as back and forth with Tony the way he needs me to be, though.
Yeah, Rich, you'll have to go back. Yeah, since you just checked in, you have to go back and watch the beginning of this. We've talked a bit about you. People have been asking some questions about what it meant for us to have you over here, and also hopefully you'll go back and review a bit of that. And Danny says once in a while they get cedar waxwings. We don't get that I know of. But that's something we don't get here in the East. And says, haha, now Rich gets to see what we have been seeing. And it's funny. And Matt's big dream says he's in Central Indiana. That's right. He's in Indianapolis. Man, I remember you seeing your Indy videos. You have to forgive me, my brother. I am just like, it's hard for me to keep my mind straight. You're all the way back to the origin of birds and pterodactyls and stuff here. She'll probably find it before this is over. And Wayne Rushing's in. Hi, I've missed all the other live shows. What's up, Rich? And so Rich might want to, maybe what Rich will do is do a live show from his end. And we are talking about trying to join forces and do one together. But so far, we've been letting Rich get back and get acclimated. So I know that Rich had some things he needed to do to get caught back up in England, so we haven't made that effort yet. Danny says, Nikki, you can get by with smacking Tony upside the head when he gets out of line.
One of the things I told him before we got online, I said, do not defy me. I said, can I tell him you said not to defy me? She goes, no, that would be defying me. That's true. Now y'all gonna think I'm awful.
No, she's not. I don't live in fear. I have an awesome wife.
Matt says, I've noticed Dick Bob has some great bird videos. That Secretary Bird was crazy.
That was an awesome video.
That is a great video if y'all have never seen that Secretary Bird.
I think it's the #1 video on Rich's channel. You watch that Secretary Bird kill a fake snake. It's like it stomps it with its feet, and it's wicked looking. It's prehistoric looking. So Nikki's flipping through here looking for a black bird with a blue head.
Well, I'm looking for his part of America, so
for
I'll
Indiana.
find it here in a little bit.
So and so the other thing, while Nikki's flipping through birds, that kind of naturally evolved from our doing gardening was the bees. I have to say this surprised me. Was my dad was a longtime beekeeper, been keeping bees since he was in his teens. Actually, he just loves bees, and I never got it because I'm kind of allergic to yellow jackets, and I'm scared of bees. So I never followed in his footsteps in any way. And then we start going up to see my dad, and you'd see those beehives, and you kind of got fascinated by them. And she'd say, "I'd kind of like to have bees." I said, "Are you kidding me?" And so she said, "Well, it'd be good for a garden." I said, "Well, no doubt it would." And so all of a sudden, she says, "I want some bees for my birthday," or it wasn't your birthday? It was spring.
I don't remember.
I can't remember now, but so we went to Brushy Mountain Bee Farm, which is just north of here, and we got bees and bought a hive. And then she's been a beekeeper ever since. And the first year she did it, my dad gave her lots of tips.
Danny says #1. No, Alice.
Chris is on.
Don't define me. Way too funny. But Danny says don't define me. But Danny also says, Nikki, when did you graduate? When do you graduate?
Oh.
Yeah. And what do you want to be when you grow up? It's just a few months. Hopefully, I'll be graduating. Right now, I'm in clinicals in the hospitals, but we'll keep you updated on what's going on with respiratory therapy school. So,
yeah, Nikki is a respiratory therapist, or working on that, becoming one, and she's coming on strong. She's making all A's. I'll brag on her. Your dean's list, all straight A student, and so more power to her in that. And I'm very thankful and happy to encourage her any way I can. Let's see. Here we go. She spins. Now, I've not seen she spins on before, so this is cool. So it could have been a mutation of a cedar waxwing that was a darker brown black body. So the cedar waxwing may be what Matt's seeing then. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up because now I'm curious at what Matt has over. What was it?
Indianapolis area. So he's central Indiana, or that would be pretty much central. I think Matt lives out in the country outside of Indianapolis.
Yes, McGrunt Hunter. You're going to have to post some videos of peacocks. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's down there in Florida. So the reason he's Mr. Grunt Hunter is I take it that he hunts wild pigs. So he hunts grunters, see? Mr. Grunt Hunter.
We watched one of your videos.
Oh, yeah, we watched several of them.
Yeah.
It says tons of time loaded with peacocks, and they've been very noisy. That is very cool. And Matt's big dream says, Nikki, the queen bee. She spins says, not waxwing, grackle.
Yeah.
Not wax.
I'm going to look that up because that's just too cool. Rich says to talk about the hummingbirds. Yeah, they started since Rich left. There's another one that's coming, so we have 2 now. By the end of summer, if it's like it was last year, we'll have around 10 or 11 that are back and forth, and sometimes more than that. We counted one time on a video.
14 or 15 one time.
There's a video with several. I didn't want to go
They
over.
swarm like little gnats, but they're absolutely beautiful.
I have 3 feeders and that's it out back. So.
Yeah, do some searching for the hummingbird videos. I think I call it Hummingbird Swarm or something on my YouTube channel. You'll see an amazing number of hummingbirds.
Danny's asking, he says, Nikki, is that the person that keeps you breathing when you're in surgery? Yes.
You help sometimes.
I help with the anesthesiologist. I'll be helping them. But yes, anything, if you're in cardiac arrest, if you need intubation,
they intubate people.
If you need just some oxygen
breathing
nebulizer treatment,
nebulizers.
If you need CPR, I know advanced CPR. I'll soon be in advanced cardiac life support. So anything like that. If you're choking, I know what to do with all of that when you come into the hospital or just out in the public. But I've already done intubations and all that good stuff.
So what they respiratory therapists, I didn't realize myself I worked in healthcare for a long time. I didn't understand, but it's mostly it's heart and lungs is what they're mostly centered on. They don't do the rest of what nurses do. It's center on those two areas.
That's great, Matt. Matt says he's going to keep digging about that bird and finding out what kind of bird it is and what will attract them. I'm going to research that and find out what that is. And Tony can maybe talk to you later about it if I can't.
Now, She Speeds is on here. She says she watches our gardening videos mostly. Thank you for that. You know, I always wonder how many people really watch our gardening videos. And she says, are you growing any cushaws? You heard that before?
Haven't heard of that, so we'll have to look that up.
I thought she was saying cashews at first with cushaws. I think Nikki would enjoy making pies from those. What we do is what I do is I copy every single part of this feed, and I save it into like a Word file. I go back later and try to learn from it. So we will definitely look up a cushaw. I could open up another window here. I'm afraid I'll mess up our feed though to do that. I want to try something though. I want to try sharing a screen here for a second and see if this works. I've not tried this with the broadcast. I don't want to mess anything up. But let me see if this, is that screen share there, right? I guess I'll click on that. And then I can pick a screen that I can share here, I guess. I'm going to say share. And so folks, hopefully you're seeing a page from my Facebook now. So I'm going to hit stop share in a minute. This is the garden we're talking about. And this was actually from 2 years ago or this from last year?
A few years ago because
it says 2013.
Yeah, the grapevines haven't grown yet.
Yeah, the grapevines hadn't grown up yet. So we had grapes. I have grapes over here now. So this was the first year though that we had this little bed over here, which is made out of cross ties, and this is the one I made the first year. And so we have our asparagus. You can see some of it coming up here. That's the ferns from the asparagus. That's still there. We've expanded all this. We've been eating a ton of asparagus. We usually grow tomatoes and peppers and spinach and all in these little areas over here. Then way back behind me there, these are the blueberry bushes here, and way back behind are the sweet potatoes. I'm going to click another picture here and see if it'll let me go any farther. I don't know if it'll let me do it. I have to go here or down. Then I can do it maybe. So that's just outside our house. This is outside our front, and let's see if that's sharing. I guess it is, right?
Yeah.
And so
they're telling you.
I say, cool. Okay, so I'm learning here how I can share screens and stuff. But this is our swing, and Nikki put that there.
Danny, he did look like Indiana Jones, didn't he?
I'm going to go on. So there's a panorama I did of the garden. And if I click on it to open it up, you can see it may be better. I don't know. So that's, once again, and this is the roses and things that lead into it. We're probably going to put another post or something in this area here where this bronze thing is. I don't know if you're seeing my finger pointing or not. I don't know if it actually shows that.
And Matt's saying that he's going to use some, his wife loves, or they watch the videos, but he also wants to use some wood from an old deck to make a raised bed. And those cross ties work awesome.
Yeah.
Railroad cross ties that we got at a local garden center.
And I'll say this too. I've had some people, send me some. I'll close this out for a minute. Stop sharing this. Stop. Okay. So I guess now it's back to us on the screen again. What I was going to say is a lot of times people say, don't get cross ties. They got creosote in them and you get cancerous stuff. Find a place that sells old ones. Yes. If they're 70, 80 years old, the creosote is largely gone from them. I'm not going to say it's 100% gone, but I smell no oil. I smell no creosote, no in it. They just seem very benign. They're very old, reclaimed cross ties that were probably in the ground 75, 80 years ago.
And I painted them while they're in the ground.
You can go to your local garden center and ask for old ones. Don't get ones that have creosote and stuff in them. And they work great, man. Just something that separates your garden from the grass so that you don't get grass growing up into it. And Danny says, that is a beautiful pic there. Love the swing. Yes. Thank you, Danny.
We love that swing. It came with the house, and I painted that too, and we put Pug in it. When I'm outside working in the garden, she just sits in it and swings, and I'll go out there usually when I just want to see what birds are coming to my feeder. They're at the birch tree. I'll sit there in the swing, and at the first 10 or 15 minutes, they don't come because they're a little nervous, but then after that, there's tons of birds that come back and forth, and I can see. And that's where I've learned their calls. I've learned the bird calls sitting on that swing.
I think one of the most, now if Rich is still watching, one of the most amazing things about Rich is during the week he was here, he learned the songs of several birds, but mostly
that was impressive.
He learned the songs of the cardinal.
Yes.
He could tell me, I remember these little warbles. I'm just used to hearing him say cheep, 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 cheep. But then there are other songs they sing. I didn't even know that. I think Nikki.
That's where I learned it, was on that swing. I was sitting out there one day, and I thought that's all they did was the cheap. And then one came, and I guess he was mating. He's sitting in the tree, and he just starts doing these different songs and noises. And I said, wow, Cardinals have a beautiful song. And Danny wants to know, if I may, Rich, can you tell us what you missed since getting back home?
I guess he's talking about just being here with Nikki and I. And I'm sure he missed his own home.
Yeah, but Rich is gonna.
We'll let Rich answer that one.
So Matt's big dream: would old deck boards have creosote or anything harmful? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
You can ask your local center if wherever you're getting the boards from, or do a little research. That's what we did about the railroad ties, just to make sure. But they're so old. You know, it seems like we found something where it said they were old enough. It was garden site on, I don't know which state it was from, but it mentioned it was okay to use those.
Do a little
research.
The thing I did, Matt, that really I think helped mine along is I really dug up all the turf underneath it. I did it the old-fashioned way with a mattock. It was a lot of hard work, but you can grow a lot of food in a small space. So I would recommend you get the turf up so that the grass doesn't grow up from underneath it, or put down a bunch of multi-layers of sheeting underneath, of the yard block. For me, it was really cool just to dig the hole there and everything. I kind of got the cross ties embedded down into the ground, where I don't think they can really affect the soil that's being held in between them anyway.
Danny, we never get to vacation. He's asking when we vacation. We either have family here, or there's people. Rich got to see that even with Tony with a 2-week vacation, there were people still pulling at him, trying to get him from his freelance jobs, trying to get him to do some stuff. But when we do take a vacation, it will be a big one. We do want to go to Scotland.
We do.
That's one place we want to visit.
Danny, what I want to do is get her out west.
And I would love to I would love to rent a camper and just go. Just go wherever here in the U.S. That is one of my big things I want to do after I graduate, is just we take 2 weeks and just go in a couple of years, just drive wherever.
I wanted to see the Grand Canyon, and you know what? I've not had the chance to do the things I want to do out west. I've been to the Vegas and New Mexico, and I've done the sort of the southwest part, Arizona and Sedona and all that. But I've not been up into Colorado. I've not been to Wyoming. I've not been to Idaho or Washington or even California or Oregon. I'm Montana. I mean, I want to see all that, Danny. And I think that Nikki and I are going to probably do a lot of seeing America, and we're going to see UK. And those are the places we really want to go to.
We've got to first get that camper and go out west.
Yeah.
I love that. Rich is saying, I miss my friends, Tony and Nikki are great people. I miss chilling and chatting and laughing. That was some of our best times. One of my favorite things to do when we have guests is sit here. We never use our bar unless we have friends here or guests or family. And one of my favorite things to do is just sit there and here in this area. And it's so comfy to just sit and talk and eat and enjoy our dinner. So.
Rich would sit with us, and we would just take our time, and he was a great catalyst for conversation. Just some little question he would ask, and then Nikki and I could talk about stuff that we usually didn't talk about together. Just kind of like what you're doing here now. I mean,
if you guys ever get to meet Rich, he has a very calming personality.
Laid back.
He's just very calming and he just reminded me of my brother and having a family member in the house. I loved it. Danny and McGrun Hunter are talking about the Grand Canyon. Yes, that's where I want to go. We want to do that and experience it. Take our time.
I like to see them. I've never been to the North Rim, Danny. So I want to go up to the top. I've been to the south. Now
don't miss. Matt said something about the cross ties. How did you tie them? You're gonna have to show him the video on the railroad.
Okay. Tony, how do you anchor your cross ties together? Do you use rebar? You know what? Actually, what I did was I dug sort of troughs for them to sit in, and so it has actually soil about they're about this deep, maybe 3 inches that they lay down into the ground, and then I've got the gravel that goes all the way around that kind of holds them in. So I didn't really tie them together with anything other than just gravity and a bit of where I've excavation and everything. Let's let them sit down in troughs, and so that way they don't move at all. Let's see. Danny did the Grand Canyon has to be experienced. Absolutely no picture. It won't. You just can't believe it when you're there. Tony and Nikki road shows, like Matt's big dream said. Wouldn't that be great? Wayne Rush in Yellowstone National Park is a must. It is very beautiful there.
I can't wait to
I've never been to Yellowstone. I've never been to the Tetons, all that mess. Got to get up there. Danny says if you've never gone to Yellowstone, you must go. You need a minimum of 5 days to truly experience it. Man, I hope the Lord makes that possible for us to do, baby.
I'd like to do it in the next couple of years. As soon as I'm out of school and we're settled,
yeah,
just go.
We work very hard. I mean, we're actually not been married that long. We got married in.
But we'll get it done.
2000 and
you can't ask me. I never remember.
2010. We just had our 2011 we got married.
So
fourth anniversary. Got married in March 1, so I can remember that.
Okay, Danny's saying to go to the lower falls at Yellowstone. Danny, we will have to do that. We'll let you know when we're planning our trip so we can get some pointers from you. Yes. But that is a big to do on my list.
Danny's an adventuring man. So that's what so if you're not going to Danny's channel, go check it out, all the things he goes to. And I like the fact he'll take his quadcopter and get up in the air so you can actually see these canyons and stuff that he visits.
Matt's asking, have we ever failed at anything in the garden growing?
Yeah.
Yes. One of my big things was okra. I don't pick it quick enough. I don't go out and pick it quick enough. It's like I leave it on and it gets too hard. There's been a few
our cantaloupes grew, but they didn't grow good. We tried cantaloupes.
They would grow, but the animals would get the raccoons or something at night would get to them before we could pick them.
Matt, we have beautiful broccoli grows so beautiful here.
Yeah.
And we have never been able to figure out, and it gets these huge, beautiful heads of broccoli, and I'll eat 3 or 4 meals of broccoli, and then some kind of bug gets in them, and I've never been able to figure out how to keep the bugs out.
We're probably just planting it too early.
Maybe we are, but so we've not been planting broccoli lately because it gets buggy. And so I'm trying to think what are the other things we kind of failed on. Eggplant just never grows great here.
It grows, but just you're going to get one. For what you pay for the plant, you might as well buy it in the store because you're just going to get one, usually about 1 or maybe 2.
The things that have been super worth us doing are kale, spinach, asparagus, tomatoes like crazy, peppers, man, we get these big huge peppers. They're great. Onions.
Danny says he's been married for 35 years. That's awesome, Danny. That is awesome. Later this year. And then Rich says 14 years for he and Karen. That is awesome.
And She-Spin says you have to cut okra every day to every other day. Thank you.
Yes.
We're still learning
I'll get out there and
about
it's just
some
too hard. And I'm like, oh man, I didn't pick it quick enough. McGrunt Hunter says, oh my God, you killed okra. You are my hero.
You killed okra. You are my hero.
You don't like okra.
Well,
you got it fried up just
we
right.
like fried okra. We don't like it in a slimy way. So, see, Arlie Carson, Tony Tone, write a theme song for the Nikki and Tony Road Show. Just don't sing. That's okay. I posted a video right before this show that we're doing now. So if you go there and watch it, you'll understand why I'm going to start putting some songs out. I've been holding back. I've got a whole bunch of songs I've written. And Nikki could sing a lot of them. She has time.
He has a lot of songs.
So I'm going to start putting songs out. Even though I don't sing very well, I'm going to start putting them out there. My hope is that somebody that can sing would like them and say, hey, Tony, I'd like to record your song. My big dream has always been to work in the music industry, not graphics or anything else, healthcare. I mean, that's fine, but I would be a musician and write songs if I could, if anyone would ever think that I was good enough to do that. So I'm just following my dream right now a little bit.
What was the app we did today? We need to tell them what that was, and it aged us.
Oh yeah, what was that thing called? Let me go get the thing and see.
Yeah, get it. Right. Do you have your picture still up on there?
Probably. Hang on.
Anyway, we do this little app where you can age yourself and see what you're going to look like, and I think it was the next 30 years. So it was kind of crazy to see that and to see yourself that old already. And Tony honestly didn't change much. He had a few wrinkles here, but I looked a hot mess.
I wonder if I can find that.
But if you
it's called
oh
Lord.
Yeah, here's my face.
What was it called?
Here's me. What is it? 30 years later?
Yeah,
or 40.
30 or 40 years later.
This
into
is
the
me.
future.
That's me. What, 40?
I think,
40?
yeah. I think.
That's me in 40 years.
I don't believe it. I don't think she's going to look like that. See, where's me? Let's see, mine here. No, me.
It gives you, but you can't really see the resolution that good on here. It gives you.
It's called what was this thing?
It gives
called?
you wrinkles and it gives you
Oh, here I am.
splotches in your face. So show them you. They know what you look like.
So here's what I'm supposed to look like in in
get the
40
shine
years.
off. There you go. There's Tony in 40. Is it 40 or 30?
I think it was 35 years. I don't know when it was. But what is this thing called? To start over, it's called.
It's a really cool app. If you want to see what you're going to look like.
Aging. It's called Aging Booth.
See, you smile and
Aging
everything. Turn it. There you go.
Well, now, what made you start talking about that? Did somebody ask about something?
I don't know.
Anyway.
It's funny. We just bought an RV so we can visit North Carolina. Seeing your videos has just cemented that desire. Oh, that's from Aussie Okie. That's awesome.
Aussie Okie. Okay.
That's my dream. Aussie Okie is to have a RV or a camper. I could probably I would sell this house and buy a really nice RV and just go. I would love that, but
now CCTV.
It takes money to do that, to travel like that.
CCTV users talking about our garden and stuff again. He says it's same with potatoes. It's just cheaper to buy them. The only thing that I'd say,
yes.
But we don't grow. We grow sweet potatoes, and I think we end up buying about maybe $9 or $10 of sweet potato little plants.
And we get a lot.
And then we get a bushel of sweet potatoes. So that's the one thing that's very much worth it.
But we don't grow regular potatoes.
And I think Rich would say that sweet potatoes here are fantastic. They're some of the best sweet potatoes. And so our soil really likes to grow them.
Yeah. And then, yes, Danny or Matt, the app is realistic. It's it stays with your true features, and then it gives you wrinkles and splotches, and you're like, wow, that's how I'm going to look. I gotta do something, folks.
I hope I don't look like that when I'm old, Danny, or old Matt. And see, Danny says, Aussie, just stay in the Nikki and Tony bed and breakfast.
That's if we're still here. We travel, so we'll end up traveling or something. But
Danny said, Danny gave me a real nice compliment. He says, Tony's a great musician. I can't understand how he can't make a fortune playing. And I wish I could. I'm not such a good player that I could ever make it playing music, probably. But I'm pretty good. I just can't sing, but I do think I write a good song. So I'm just hoping. Yeah, because for songwriting, I just want to get the songs out there. I'm sitting on probably 300 songs that a lot of people have never heard, not even you. And so I'm going to start trying to put a song out every week. And maybe I'll connect with somebody that is really good singer that could sing for me or with me or like someone that wants to buy the songs. Like I say, it's kind of my dream. And see what would say, Rich, can you tell about the hotel suite they offer?
Or he can tell you. And then the sweet potatoes taste great.
Yeah, Rich said sweet potatoes.
Yeah, well, I fixed a sweet potato while he was here. And notice I said a sweet potato because it was huge. And we all ate from one potato.
Yeah, we had one. Rich, I don't know if you even know that. That was one potato we ate that night. It was one about this big, and she just split it 3 different ways for us. So it really is worth it for us to grow the sweet potatoes. So I'm trying to think, is there anything that we've not covered? They've not asked you a whole lot about cooking, although we have had some real successful little cooking videos. One of the things that surprised me is Nikki, one day she said, we've got this new rival turkey roaster. We ought to do a video about roasting turkeys. That has been one of my best videos lately. It's getting a ton of views. People want to see how to roast a turkey in a rival, and you've done some. You ought to go look for Nikonya's Kitchen, Nikonya, in Nikonya's Kitchen. We started out trying to do like 5 and 6 camera things on that. And then we just started having fun, just a couple of GoPros and shooting. So Nikki's little videos for cooking are great. What's Rich saying?
Says they don't have any rooms left. I have cleaned that room now, so no rooms at the end. And honestly, I still call it. I call it before he came, and even now I go, let me go open the blinds in Rich's room. That will always be Rich's room.
Rich, what we think we're going to do is if we have guests, various different guests, we're going to start putting their picture in there. So what we'll do is we'll have the Wall of Fame in there, like Rich Cove slept here.
Now one thing Rich did while he was here, he bought me a miniature rose to put outside, and we'll show a video of that later because you have to do some certain care things with miniature roses. So we'll do a video on how to take care of a miniature rose, and we're gonna put a plaque on there, and it's called the Cove Rose.
The Cove Rose.
So if you ever hear at our house or something, you'll see the Cove Rose.
Say this is the Rich Cove Rose, and you'll know what we're talking about. I see Danny Five says, so who is shooting my behind the scenes tonight. We're not shooting behind the scenes video tonight. Sorry, Danny, I didn't think to do that. That was one of Rich's touches, and I haven't done that. But I hope you've checked in and seen the ones Rich shot.
Wayne is asking, do we make pies with the sweet potatoes? Yes. I honestly, someone mentioned something about yam. I really think they're really a yam, but on the little placard that was inside the actual vegetable when we bought it, it said Beauregard sweet potato.
Beauregard sweet potatoes, yeah.
But most yams are real bright orange like that.
Yeah, ours are super orange. I mean, they're like more orange than any sweet potato I've ever seen. Because usually they're little sweet potatoes are a little lighter. Let's see, Wayne potato, star potatoes. Always this. And then CCTV user says,
let's park our caravans on his campsite. You know what? We probably could fit a few.
We should make that an RV location back there. That's a good thought. She spins. It says Kinston is right up the road from Kenansville and Warsaw, and they grow sweet potatoes down there.
I think it's just the dirt here in this area. It really is the best sweet potatoes. We'll have to do a video to show you some of them.
And I've eaten a lot of sweet potatoes. Yeah. And see, Rich was telling Danny that it's almost 1 a.m. there, and he's still awake.
I know. I think it's awesome that Rich is on, and I bet he's really tired. But sweet thanks, Tony. I'm in the Hall of Fame.
Rich is in the Hall of Fame. Let's see.
Danny's asking if I'm originally from NC. Yes. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I'm actually from the eastern part of North Carolina called Robeson County. It's the largest county in the state, and it's predominantly Native American. There, I grew up going to school with, I didn't go to school with any Cherokee, the Cherokee on this part of the state.
Yeah, they're western.
But I grew up with Sioux, and then there's the Lumbee, Tuscarora, Choctaw, and it was really, it's a really cool place to grow up. Really hot down that way. Lots of farming country.
Yeah, they grow a lot of sweet potatoes and stuff there, and soybeans and wheat, cotton.
Lots of cotton, tobacco.
Yeah.
But I grew up in NC. Then I moved when I was 18 to Virginia, and I lived there for almost 5 years, 4 to 5 years. And then I married and moved here. Not this guy, another guy. And then I moved up to his area. And lived there in the little Switzerland for 12 years. So, yeah, I've moved around a little bit.
We're really thankful. I'm going to say this. Nikki's like my soulmate. I just, it's been awesome with us being married. We both kind of came out of failed marriages. Enough said about that.
Danny says that he's talking about an accent. Let's see. Is that why you don't sound funny like that hillbilly beside you? I honestly, because I moved to Virginia, I was made fun of a lot because our accent on the eastern part of North Carolina is almost Creole sounding. It's got it has its own its own dialect and way of talking. It's very hard to understand. So when I moved to Virginia, I had to slow down everything and take the accent off a lot of things because they really didn't understand me. So I've got now a mixture of North Carolina Eastern, Virginia, and Little Switzerland, and now here in Washington. So, yeah, we're Valdez.
Arlie was saying that you're really a Native American princess. Tony said you were. She's from the Bear clan of Tuscarora, which is sort of a kind of the royalty clan there.
Yeah.
One of them. So.
Somebody says Jamaica is known, or Matt's Big Dream, Jamaica is known for their good sweet potatoes, and it's a hilly country as well. Never tried growing any tropical stuff. Yeah, we're
not subtropical enough here. We're kind of
anything that has vines the vines can just trail down is going to grow great. If potatoes and things like that.
We are, Matt, where we are, it's sort of it's growing zone 7, and it's a little tricky here. You have to have the weather just right to get those tender things that grow in the tropical areas. And it's like this year, I've had peach trees in the ground for 3 years now, and this is the first year that my peach blossoms have survived. So I'm going to have peaches this year. They're looks like hundreds of little peaches on my trees. So it's sort of a hit and miss thing. I planted figs in the ground back there, and I think we're just a little too cold probably 5 degrees too cold for figs. So I'm giving up on a few things like that. So
that is right. Someone, I think Matt asked that a few comments ago. That is one thing that did fail. Is I think we might have one that may be alive, but we're up just high enough where they don't do well as the figs.
Yeah.
So.
And She Spin said cabbage, broccoli are getting to be popular crops down there too. That's talking about down in Jamaica. We don't grow cabbage because we just don't eat much cabbage, do we?
But we have some collards growing.
Yeah, we love collards. Oh
and
man.
Kale and spinach. It all grows.
Yeah, we like greens, and particularly spinach. And we usually grow. We've not put any squash in the ground, and we still have space for that. I think we may probably get a few squash, shouldn't we? Some nice. We like zucchinis and things. So we probably plant. It's still not too late to plant some things around here. And then she's saying geechee and common grackle. We have to find out what some of those are. I don't know. Danny says I make fun of Tony's accent, but it is what makes him so friendly. They say I have an accent, but I don't hear it. And Danny, I've heard a bit of your. A lot of people say that people from North Carolina sound like folks from Texas. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not, but I've heard you talk, and you just sound like a normal guy to me. You don't sound like a hillbilly guy or anything like we do. It says She Spin no down in eastern North Carolina, not Jamaica. Okay. Okra and Navajo Pa 31 says okra is still tender if your thumbnail goes into it easy. Okay. Danny says Nikki, Tony said at the start of the night what attracted him to you? What attracted him to you, if that isn't too personal? I usually want to say what attracted you to me.
That's not too personal, Danny. I can tell you that really easy is the fact that he's just a good person, and I don't know how to explain that and make it sound right. For me, he's just the sweetest, kindest, he's just a pure soul, and he doesn't think he is, but he's just a pure soul. What you see, that is Tony. This is Tony right here, and that was very important to me to have someone that was true to who they are and what they are. And sometimes that's a fault because people can take advantage, but at the same time, that is really what attracted me, was that he is just genuinely a good person, and that was very important.
She's gonna make me cry here. Plus, I love the pug. Yes, I'm a good pug.
No, ma'am, we don't grow corn because it's just you need a couple of good rows or more than that actually, and we could do that. But again, it's one of those things you could go to the store and buy 4 ears for $1 and eat your fill for that evening. But no, there's tons of cornfields around here though. Yeah,
we can buy corn real cheap around here, and that's probably one of the reasons we've never done it, because a lot of people grow it and you get good sweet corn just at the. We kind of grow things that you wouldn't ordinarily just be able to go and buy at the store for cheap, Yeah. She Spins LOL, and her accent would be called Geechee when it's that rich and with Southern sass. Rich with Southern sass. Ooh.
Yes, She Spins. The okra would sound. They did sound like rattles. Because I would just totally forget about them, and I'm out there all the time, and I just totally forget about the rattler, the okra, and you would pick them up, and they sounded like little rattles because the seeds had dried inside.
Thanks, Matt. I mean, I appreciate that.
He doesn't believe it, guys. He's still trying to fix it in his head that I even said that, or Matt just said that. He is what he is, period. That's just Tony. CCTV user says, Tony, do you know what Brussels sprouts are? Yes, we eat them all the time.
We eat them all the time. We buy them because we tried growing them and they didn't do well.
Well, it's just that I think we planted them too early, and you're supposed to or I pulled them up too late, too late. They come up in their stalk, and they're a long growing crop.
Yeah,
it takes a long time.
We need to try that again sometime. But I tell you what we do. We get these little, you can buy pretty cheap, like 99-cent packs or $1.50 packs. In butter from Green Giant at Walmart. So we'll buy that. We love to eat those.
Or the fresh ones and just put them in the oven.
Amazing. It says, Matt, I agree 100%. Tony is simply genuine. Period. Hey man, thanks Danny, and thanks Matt. That's what I try to be.
And then Tony did too, or Rich did too. He said Tony is a great guy. What you see is what you get. And see, Rich has been here, so
Yeah, Rich
and I don't think
around.
he would lie about that either. So
I don't try to put on everything I want to be. My number one thing I decided a long time ago is, as a Christian guy, I like that. Jesus' number one thing was not trying to get into religion here, but it's you'll just love God and then love your neighbor as yourself. And so that's why the golden rule that love your neighbor as yourself, try to do unto others as you'd have done to you. That's what rules over my life, and that's what makes me what I am. That's pure and simple. That's I think if you live that golden rule, then you'll be a humble, genuine person that puts other people first, and that's what I want to be. And what else is saying here?
CCTV user says we can see sweetness in his videos. That's why I was hooked after just watching one. And now they're moving kind of fast. Rich is saying, I love Brussels, my blank dog. I don't think Rich is a big greens eater. I had him try some collard greens, and I actually got tickled. I was washing dishes today, and I thought about him eating those collard greens. And he didn't realize I was watching him. The look on his face was like, oh, she's making me try collard greens. But he did it. He ate them. He ate his collard greens.
And in all fairness, Rich didn't get to the very best collards we make are the ones that grow in our garden. They're way better than the ones we tried to feed Rich. And they were decent, but they weren't as good as what we get out of our garden. They're like way better at what we get out of our garden. And she says, you can eat the Brussels sprout and broccoli leaves as well. Yes, broccoli. We found out we could eat broccoli leaves, and they're great. I actually have a video talking about the broccoli leaves are outstanding. So they're just as good as any kind of green. Cut them up and saute them with garlic, scallions, chives, butter, salt. So she spins. You were right. Matter of fact, you can find a video where I discovered that you can eat them, because I didn't realize. Long story. I messed up and thought I bought the wrong thing. I thought I bought cabbage. It did turn into broccoli. Then I started eating the leaves even before the broccoli heads came up. See, Matt's one of his many videos. You can tell he isn't planning what he's going to say on many of Tony's videos, and what comes out is always genuine. It's just solid gold. He's rare. He's rare breed. I think he meant rare breed. That's totally cool. He doesn't even realize it's his secret to success. Hey, man, that is sweet. Golly. Y'all being too cool to me. It's about Nikki tonight. It's not about me. But thank you, folks. CCTV user says, do they have them over there, Rich? I guess, it's talking about Brussels sprouts. Yeah. We did not have any. We did not try to feed Rich any Brussels sprouts. We do, we tried growing them one year. Didn't do too well. Yeah. Arlie says, Tony, if you ever get to do your reality show, you can call it Wholesome Glen. Arlie is one of the most creative commenters on my channel. He always puts something that takes some real thought. It's pretty cool. And Danny says, Matt, I never plan what I will say either. So my videos say, I usually, before I do one of my little personal videos or something, I might sit and think for a minute, what do I want to say? I kind of let it run through my head, and then I kind of just turn on the camera and see what happens. Mm-hmm. And I very seldom ever do a second take or anything on something, but I kind of have my thoughts collected. I don't have a script or anything for nothing.
CCTV user says his name is Lee, so you got to remember that.
My name is Lee. CCTV user Lee.
And Rich Co says he ate. So he did. Rich ate raw asparagus while he was here.
Yeah. Now that was good. That's the way I love to eat it now. I don't think we cooked any asparagus this year, and I've eaten a bunch of it. Let's go ahead and break it off and eat it. It's way better raw.
Yes.
It's one of the things that kind of surprised me about asparagus. So it is actually past our bedtime, isn't it? We said we'd go.
It's not bedtime. I'm finishing a paper. I'll probably be up till 2 in the morning. I'm finishing a paper for tomorrow. I'm at the end of the semester, so it's wrapping up. Thank goodness. And I'll be up though until about 2 tonight, doing some homework for tomorrow.
So, folks, I promised I would end this at 8:03.
Now, Tony, you can stay.
8 o'clock.
Yeah,
I could hang around, I guess, but I once again, Matt's Big Dream says, same here, Danny. We can't all be communications experts. The heart of gold, sweet whiskers. So we're just standing there saying, that's hilarious.
Well, I'll tell you what. Rich is way better at this than me.
Yeah.
The whole time I've been sitting here, I'm twiddling my fingers, and it's nervous for me to be on the spot. But you guys have been awesome. I'm going to go get some homework done. Tony might stay with you a few more minutes. Yeah. Are you going to stay with him?
Yeah, I'll wrap it up.
And then I'll see y'all later. Y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome. And I'm so glad that you watch my husband and Rich as well, and watch their communication back and forth.
YouTube's meant a lot to both of us. I mean, naturally, probably more than me because I use it a lot. But Nikki likes it. I've got to get. I guess YouTube is the hobby, if there's a hobby, and it's more become it's something beyond social networking to me too. It's more than that. It's more than just messing around with on Facebook or something. YouTube's more personal. It's a record of your life and things you want to share. So
I'm gonna go get my stuff done and enjoy being with this guy. Y'all are awesome. I'll see you later.
All right, baby. I'll be on back in a minute. I'm just gonna finish up by saying, if you have any comments about anything with Nikki, I'll encourage her. I mean, I want her to come sit with me here on the couch a lot and talk. It's cool to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, and so she's a blessing in my life. I think she has a lot to share. I think she had a little bit of trepidation about doing this, but I think she was a natural. So send an encouraging comment over to Nikki. And I'm not going to keep you here much longer. I will look at a few more things here. So good luck on your paper, Nikki. And Danny Fi says, thanks, Nikki. Will you please do this weekly? Maybe we will. Navajo Pa 31, thanks. Enjoyed listening to you both. She Skins. See, you could have been knitting or crocheting while you watched, girl. Rich Cove, thanks for doing this. It's good to see you, and good to see you all guys in here watching. I know y'all are seeing these. I like to acknowledge what's being said anyway. Mr. Grunt Hunter's Adventure, it's fun again. Nikki, you are more than welcome to come with Tony and May. I'll buy your lunch. Jane's going to offer to buy your lunch, baby, if you're not in the middle of something. And Jamie Hastings says, hey, Tony and Nikki, I've never met Tony before, but he just seems to be himself in his videos, and I think that's why he has a successful channel. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. She Spins asks, how far are we from Weaverville? I work in Asheville most days, so I'm only maybe 15, 20 minutes from Weaverville there, and we live down in Valdez, so we're, an hour, 15, 20 minutes maybe away. So we're down here kind of in the east, between Hickory and Morganton. And let's see, just wrapping up. Anything else? Yes, Nikki is also comfortable around the camera too. They are a nice couple. Thank you, my friend. I'll make sure she's in there, maybe doing a few things. She might know she's still over there, so she's still hearing some of this. And anything else? CCTV user. Let Tony stay. LOL. I tell you what I have to do, folks. Though I am going to have to go because I have an adjustment to make on a client's video. It's a video from a nursing place that does like home care so I produced a couple of videos this weekend. I am going to have to get out there and work a little bit, even though it's Sunday night. So I probably will split here just in a minute, but I'm just to see if any late comments here I need to answer. She Spins says, we will be going to Echo View Fiber Mill in a month or so to pick up fiber for me to spin. LOL. So She Spins actually spins yarn, I guess, right? I got to check out your site out. Hopefully you have some videos there. I would find that very interesting. It's funny that you go to Weaverville to get fiber for spinning. I don't know. That's funny. It makes me wonder: is Weaverville? Do you live in Weaverville, or do you get stuff to spin in Weaverville? That would make sense, wouldn't it? Interesting. Rich says, I'm off to bed, guys. Great to catch up with y'all. Good night. Good night, Rich. Thanks again for your visit. You did have a cool impact on our life, and we appreciate you coming and sharing 2 weeks with us. It was great. CCTV user says good night to Rich. And so I'm going to say good night too, folks. Again, thanks for watching. We'll be doing I'm sure Nikki and I'll be doing maybe one broadcast a week. Look for more music videos. I am going to do some more tutorials and things. I'm going to keep kind of going the way I've been going with the channel, but I do want to start sharing a little bit more music, good or bad. And don't unsubscribe, please. And we're going to try to work out the thing with Rich too. And Danny, I mean, I like to have an online hangout with Danny if I can figure out how to do that and broadcast it. So I'm going to do a little research this week, try to learn, come back next week. Again, folks, thanks so much for watching. And I'm going to sign off right now. Peace to all who are watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber already. Thanks, y'all. Good night.